First, please allow me to apologize for the many small pictures in this video. I get my pictures from Bulbapedia, and Bulbagarden's original Gen 2 Sugimori artwork and Dreamworld artwork tended to be rather small. Anyway, since I did a list of my top 6 favorite and least favorite Pokemon from Generation 1, I thought I would do a similar video of my top 6 favorite and least favorite Pokemon from Generation 2. Pokemon Silver solidified me as a lifelong Pokemon fan, so the game carries deep meaning with me. While I prefer Pokemon Blue to Pokemon Silver, I overall like the Generation 2 Pokemon better than the Gen 1 Pokemon. There are a lot less generic Pokemon and many interesting concepts that are explored. I hope you enjoy this list as much as I enjoyed making it. The Pokemon in front of you are the runner-ups that would have rounded out each list into a top 10. Without further ado, let's start with my 6th least favorite Gen 2 Pokemon. Larvitar for me is just sort of a meh Pokemon. Tyranitar and Pupitar are both okay, and I like the overall concept of a Godzilla Pokemon, but Larvitar itself just doesn't do much for me, and I'm not a fan of the design. It is also yet another rock ground Pokemon, which is by no means a bad thing, but was pretty unoriginal in Gen 2 when so many rock Pokemon from Gen 1 had the exact same typing. If there's something you should know about me, it's that I love deer. Stantler was a really cool original concept for a deer Pokemon. It is admittedly one of those Pokemon where the concept is better than the Pokemon actually is in battle, but I think the angle of having a normal Pokemon with hypnotic abilities was cool. What's even more cool about Stantler is that you only find it just outside of Ecruteak City, which is based on the city of Nara in western Japan. Nara is known for having an insanely large deer population that is very comfortable being around humans, so it's no coincidence that Stantler linger around Ecruteak City and occasionally reveal themselves to trainers passing by. If there was something I could change about Stantler, though, apart from making it actually good in battle, I would change it to a Psychic type, or maybe a Dark type. It is very similar to Hoot Hoot and Noctowl in that it's a Gen 2 normal Pokemon that seems like there could have been a better typing for it to go along with its attacks. There's not much to say about Qwilfish. It's one of the most forgettable Gen 2 Pokemon, as well as one of the most forgettable water Pokemon, and if you saw my last list, you know that I don't care much for forgettable water Pokemon. I've never really understood the point of Qwilfish. When it was introduced in Gen 2, we were still in the days when the only Pokemon you would ever come across while surfing were Tentacool and Tentacruel, so we really didn't need what boils down to a worse water poison Pokemon whose only interesting quality is that some guy needs to call you on your phone to let you know when they're ridiculously rare. It's just... there's not a lot to say about this Pokemon because there's not a lot going on with this Pokemon. In Gen 1, it's really hard to pick a favorite final starter evolution because they're all great, but in Gen 2, I really think Meganium stands out as a clear winner. It has one of the best designs of any final starter, a really great balance between simple, cute, and cool. My best memory of Meganium was when I used one in Soul Silver. Up until that point, the value of support moves like Reflect and Light Screen never really clicked with me. When I taught them to my Meganium, I realized how useful they were in regularly buffing up my team's defenses. I liked that Meganium because it really made me a better Pokemon player. I hate Ladium. I think it's really dumb. I think it's really weird how it looks like a Power Ranger, but it's really weak. And as a kid, I was always really jealous that my brother got to get Spinarak and Ariados in Pokemon Gold, whereas I was stuck with lame Ladybug and Ladian in Pokemon Silver. That's all I have to say about this Pokemon. Fantastic 5-star Pokemon design. I love a lot about Xatu. I love how ominous it is. I love how it looks like a totem pole from Pacific Northwest American Indian cultures. I also love how its design is simultaneously very evocative of Mesoamerican cultures, and how it is one of the few Pokemon to be confirmed as living in a real-world place, in this case South America. Sadly, there are 2 problems that I have with Xatu. The first is that it isn't particularly good in battle. I want one on my team on Pokemon Silver on the 3DS since I've never raised a Xatu before, but it's difficult to justify. The other problem is that Game Freak seems to be trying really hard to ruin one of the best Pokemon designs. Xatu looks best when it is standing firmly on a surface, either with its wings folded in a chilling stare, or with its wings outstretched like a totem pole. Ever since the Generation 6 games, Xatu has been forever stuck in the air, and when it's in the air, it just looks like a shuttlecock from badminton. It's seriously one of the worst transitions to 3D of any Pokemon, and it's just such a shame. Aipom is a really obnoxious looking Pokemon. I like it a little more now that it has an okay evolution, but as a kid, I never really got what the point of this Pokemon was. Also, its name comes from ape, but it isn't actually an ape, it's a monkey. Aipom is a Pokemon I just don't care for. Octillery is a seriously cool Pokemon. I've always loved the concepts of Remoraid and Octillery, by which I mean the way that they are both marine animals and weapons of war at the same time. I also really like the word artillery, which always conjures images of that tedious boss from Shining Force, as well as images of cool weaponry from World War I and World War II. What I think is awesome is that Game Freak really sticks to the concept here, and Octillery can learn a lot of excellent attacks to make use of its stellar special attack. I played through Pokemon Platinum with one and didn't regret it 1 second. Give this thing a choice specs and you can mow down almost anything that gets in your path. It's really wonderful. Ugly. Ugly. This Pokemon is so ugly. It gives Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff a really bad name. I don't get what that weird spiral drawing is on its head. Of all the baby Pokemon introduced in Generation 2, Igglybuff is easily the worst. It should be called Uglybuff, because it's such a bad-looking Pokemon. I can't stand it. I hate it. I don't want to look at it anymore. Let's move on. Look at this guy. Look at him. He's so cute. I used to not care that much about Jumpluff, but I really got to know it my freshman year of college when I got into the Pokemon trading card game and ran a Jumpluff Shedinja deck at a regional tournament to decent success. Now the Squirt gives me a bunch of nostalgia, and I always get this massive grin every time I see one. And you know what else? The lightest of breezes can send these poor guys flying all around the world! The entire world! It's so funny and so sad at the same time. Life must be tough for these guys. It's such a shame that Jumpluff is not competitively viable at all, because if it were, I would use one every single time I played through a game in Johto. Jumpluff is really cute and seriously underrated, so I hope this video gives it the shout out it needs to become super popular like it deserves. Go Jumpluff! Hey man, is this a Jumpluff? Where's the Jumpluff? Why are we looking at this horrible Pokemon when we could be looking at more Jumpluff? I mean, seriously, Jumpluff's so great. Why are we wasting time on Granbull when we could be looking at Jumpluff? Oh, okay, I guess I have to talk about Granbull. Okay, so, let's see. Granbull is dumb. It's incredibly ugly. I mean, Snubbull isn't even that great to begin with, but Granbull is just so ugly, and yet it's like a coward, so it doesn't even look tough for a good reason. It's really ugly, but then people who like cute Pokemon, like in the game, people who like cute Pokemon, like Granbull, like that's a Pokemon they want to have, that's a Pokemon that like the rich people get. It doesn't make any sense. Granbull is so ugly, and it's not that great, and you know what? It's annoying now, because now it's a fairy Pokemon, but it's got all these strong biting attacks. It's annoying in Pokemon Moon to try to train Pokemon against. It's a pain in the ass. I don't like Granbull. You shouldn't like Granbull. None of us should like Granbull. So let's stop talking about Granbull and start talking about something much more magnificent. Giraffrig is a really tight competitor for my favorite Pokemon of all time. Like, really tight. It is one of my favorite designs of any Pokemon. I'm a huge giraffe fan, but my #1 favorite animal is Okabia Johnstoney, the Okapi, which Giraffrig almost looks like even more. I think is a really cool concept that so much of it, its name, its appearance, is based on the concept of a palindrome. And I also think it is really cool that it has a chomp for a tail. It's probably the only Pokemon that references a different Nintendo franchise. Something else that I really like is its typing. Now, sort of like Stantler, its typing is another example of a Gen 2 Pokemon who didn't get a typing that fits its attacks, which really point toward Girafarig being a Psychic Dark Pokemon, but they probably had to pick between normal Psychic and Dark and just went with the first two, which is nice because now it's immune to ghost attacks, and it doesn't really have to worry about fighting attacks, so it's all good. I still like to think of it in my head, though, as the front half being the Psychic type, while the back half is the pseudo-Dark type that uses all the biting attacks. I think of all the Pokemon out there, Girafarig was the one that seems the most like it was made specifically for me, and I just love that. I always name it after myself in the games when I catch it. I draw fan art of it all the time. I used one in Pokemon Platinum and loved it. I just really can't fully capture just how much I love Girafarig. It is easily my top favorite Gen 2 Pokemon. And you know it, that every time new Pokemon are on the horizon, I'm sitting there always waiting for a cool, kick-ass, maybe even scary evolution, mega evolution, I don't care what, something for Girafarig. Because it's good, competitively it's okay, but it's such a great concept, and I wish that Nintendo Game Freak would, remember that this Pokemon exists, because there's barely any toys of it, there's no stuffed animals of it. It's so hard if you're a Girafarig fan to ever show your love for this Pokemon, because it is completely overlooked in all the merchandise. Not even the Pokemon cards have that great pictures of it, but I freaking love Girafarig. I freaking love this Pokemon. It is so cool, so awesome, and I'm just happy to be able to use this time to give a shout out to it, because it is really, really something special. That wraps up my top 6 favorite and least favorite Pokemon that debuted in Pokemon Gold, Pokemon Silver, and Pokemon Crystal. I had fun making this list, so I hope you enjoyed it. In front of you is a summary of both lists. Again, I apologize for the small images. I'll see what I can do about that in the next video. If you know what your favorite and least favorite Gen 2 Pokemon are, or if you have a story to share about one of the Pokemon on my list, or if you just have a suggestion for a way I could improve my list videos, please leave a comment below. If you liked this video, please give it a like. Thank you very much for watching, and no matter where you live on the globe, I hope you have a wonderful day.